Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to jump right into something that's on a lot of people's minds. What are the very first signs of pregnancy? Let's get into the signals your body might be sending you.
All right, so let's just get right to the heart of it. The big question. Can you actually know you're pregnant before that classic sign, the one everyone waits for, a missed period? Is it really the first thing that happens?
And the answer is absolutely, yes. It's pretty amazing, actually. Your body is this incredible system that starts sending out these little secret signals long before a period is even due. So let's go find out what they are.
Okay, so we're talking about the time before a missed period. Now, look, a missed period is for sure the most reliable sign, but get this, a lot of the symptoms we're about to talk about can show up as early as 8 to 10 days before you'd even be looking at your calendar. And it all kicks off with one very important hormone.
Okay, so let's meet the main character in this whole story, progesterone. As soon as conception happens, the levels of this hormone just skyrocket. And honestly, it's the driving force behind pretty much all the early changes you might feel. Let's take a look at what it gets up to.
All right, first up, physical changes. Let's start with the stuff you can actually feel or see. These are usually the very first clues that make you go, is something different?
So symptom number 1 is a mild cramping or a little pain in your lower abdomen. And, this one can be super confusing, right? Because it feels a lot like period cramps are coming on. But the timing and the reason for it are totally different. And here's the why behind that cramping. It's this process called implantation. So what happens is the embryo forms, it makes its way to the uterus, and then it attaches itself to the uterine wall. And that process can cause the uterus to stretch just a tiny bit, which is what gives you that light cramping feeling. It's usually super brief, only lasting for about a day or two. Okay, moving on to symptom number 2, changes in your breasts. This is another really common early sign, and for a lot of people, it's one of the most noticeable physical shifts.
So what are we talking about here? Well, your breasts might feel kind of swollen, or heavy, or just really sensitive to the touch. You might even notice that the nipple and the area around it, that's the areola, starts to look a little darker. Even the tiny oil glands and veins can start to pop a bit more. It's all your body's way of getting ready for what's next. And yeah, you can thank those rising hormones for that.
All right, let's talk more about the effect of hormones. We're going to build on that and look at some other symptoms that are a direct result of that hormonal surge we keep mentioning. And these effects go way beyond just what you can see or touch.
Okay, symptom number 3. You might notice an increase in vaginal discharge. And you might be wondering, why is that happening? Well, that same rise in progesterone we talked about, it stimulates the glands in your cervix, basically telling them to work a little harder. Now, here's the really crucial part. This discharge should be odorless and shouldn't cause any itching or burning. If you experience any of that, that's definitely a sign to check in with your doctor. Symptom number 4, fatigue and dizziness. And I don't mean just I'm a little tired, I mean really tired. Early pregnancy fatigue is on another level. Your body is working serious overtime to support a new life. Your blood flow is increasing, and a lot of that is being sent straight to the uterus. And all of this can also make you feel a bit dizzy or lightheaded. And this right here brings us to a really important question, one that I'm sure is on your mind. Fatigue and dizziness. Is it pregnancy or is it just weakness? I mean, we all feel tired sometimes, right? So how in the world are you supposed to tell the difference?
This is such a great way to see the difference. Look, general weakness is usually situational. Maybe you had a crazy long day, or you didn't sleep well. And you know what? It gets better with rest. But pregnancy fatigue, that's a whole different beast. It's caused by that hormonal surge, and it's this deep, persistent tiredness that just hangs around. It doesn't seem to matter how much you rest, it's just there.
Okay, on to our next section, new sensations. Let's dive into how all these changes can lead to a whole new range of feelings and sensations, affecting pretty much everything from your daily habits to what your senses are telling you.
Symptom number 5, frequent urination. So, are you finding yourself running to the bathroom way more often than usual? Well, that increased blood flow means your kidneys are working harder to filter everything. On top of that, progesterone has this relaxing effect on your muscles, and that includes the opening of the urethra. And what that means is you might feel the urge to go more often, even when your bladder isn't very full.
And now for what I think is one of the most fascinating changes of all.
Symptom number 6, changes in taste and smell. Your senses. It's wild how powerful of an effect hormones can have on your sense of taste and especially your sense of smell.
So, you might get this weird metallic or bitter taste in your mouth that you just can't shake. And your sense of smell? Oh, it can become incredibly sharp. It's kind of like getting a superpower you never asked for. All of a sudden, smells you barely noticed before are just overwhelming. And you might find you have this new, intense dislike for specific scents, like maybe the smell of rice cooking or certain spices just makes you want to run the other way.
Okay, so what to do next? Let's say you've noticed a few of these signs, you're listening to your body, you're putting some of these pieces together. What's the next logical step?
And this is so important to remember. All of these symptoms we've talked about, they're just signs. They're clues, they're indicators, but they are not a confirmation. The most reliable way to know for sure is still a missed period followed up by a pregnancy test.
But hey, that doesn't make these signs any less important. Not at all, because listening to your body, that's the first step of discovery. Just being aware and attentive helps you stay in tune with what's going on, and you can do that without driving yourself crazy with anxiety.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. Thinking back on everything we just covered, from the cramping and fatigue to that crazy sense of smell, which of these signs do you think you would recognize first in yourself? It's a really interesting question, and it's a great reminder that every single person's journey is totally unique. Thanks so much for joining me.